Swamp Night. What's going on, guys? Rounded TikTak here, and we're gonna talk about Swamp Night. I'm trying to finally catch up on all the work that I'm behind on from the huge content drop, and this is what I want to cover next because he's actually pretty good. I always am a huge fan of things that don't make you use a specific weapon. So like Mad Tidings works with any range damage, Startup works with any range damage, Mermaid Ken works with any melee damage. Things like that allow for a lot more flexible build styles. On top of that, the entire black metal set, sadly most of the ranged weapons are pretty bad, allows for some interesting gameplay with all of these heroes that have the do more damage with less health perk. So what does Swamp Night do exactly? Well, let's get into it. Unearthly Treat is the name of the game. However, like most of the Halloween heroes, the commander perk is subpar, and that's because of phantasms. Phantasms in general are pretty meh. They just don't do enough. And even if they do decent damage, which they do, they don't have any flash, no pizzazz to them. You never know when they're actually going off. You don't know where the damage is coming from. And it's just very blah. Of course, you have made AoE targeting damage loadouts, Cyberclops and Azalea Clark, and you have a 4-second Teddy cooldown and etc. And you're able to make AoE builds like that, but this one just doesn't feel good. On top of that, he's a soldier, and his phantasm procs when he takes damage. And it's only a 45% chance, so that means 1 or 2 hits, and if you're at 174 plus, 1 or 2 hits, you're getting killed, which makes this perk completely useless in higher level missions. It doesn't matter that the damage is pretty good, since you can't even tell when it's going off, no one's going to be using him as a commander perk. However, people will be using him because he looks so damn good. Holy hell, he looks great. Credit where credit is due. I cannot believe we have this hero and Battle Royale did not get him. At least I don't think they did. I don't really follow Battle Royale, but I remember reading something on Reddit where it says they didn't get him. This character looks awesome. Top 5 in the game for me personally. It's like Assassin's Creed meets Swamp Thing meets Robin Hood, and I absolutely love it. I think it's such a cool skin. I play this character strictly for how he looks. But on top of that, Unearthly Treat, the first part, is actually really good. Like I said, it doesn't matter what kind of weapon you're using, and this allows you to come up with some kind of crazy builds. If you're using him as a main hero, you could maybe come up with some kind of tanky, take damage but heal up. You're using a soldier but you're only using hardware, and you run around the map popping your phantasms and doing 42% extra damage to all mist monsters. There's an argument to be made there, and it might be fun to play around with, and maybe take some armor, some health regen, survivalist, and you just can't be killed, and your phantasms eventually will whittle down the boss. Is that how this character is supposed to be played? I doubt it, but it's something you might want to think about. But Unearthly Treat as a support, like all of these Halloween heroes, is actually pretty damn strong. Let's talk about exactly what it does. So it gives you 42% base damage based on your missing health, only against mist monsters. But let me ask you guys, when do you lose a mission? It's not really that your tunnels break or anything like that. That can happen, but 90% of the time you'll be able to hold them off with guns for the last minute or so of the mission. Normally, when I end up losing a game, it's either one of a couple of things. It almost always involves a mist monster or mini boss of some sort. The mini boss will spawn and my entire team focuses down the mini boss and forgets that we're actually playing a mission, and there's husks leaking into the back of the base, or takers spawn and we just can't kill them fast enough and they take down everybody, and then a propane goes off out in the distance and then your base is flooded with husks. Those things usually tend to happen. The blasters, even though they've been nerfed from their original form, are still a pain in the ass to deal with, and being able to do extra damage to them is quite nice. On top of that, you can actually make some interesting builds here for a lot, and I mean a lot, of bonus damage. Unearthly Treat, Ow My Eye. These two perks alone give you 92% extra damage. That's incredible. That's so high. If you're focusing blasters or mist monsters of any sort, having 92% extra damage is kind of nuts. On top of that, Mad Tidings gives you 145. So now we're at, I don't know, 145 plus 92. So we're at 237% bonus damage. If you're using the Mythic Assault Rifle, you can keep this number up the entire time. If you have Blast from the Past, which I do in this build, your survivability isn't that bad on top of Saurian Hide. You can take a little bit of damage, sit back, and just keep these perks up the entire time. You'll see in the video that it ends up doing a ridiculous amount of damage, and being able to just hold down the button with something like the Mythic AR or the Mercury LMG and do absolutely disgusting amounts of damage. I believe I've hit for like 299,000 damage on a build like this. The fact that it's just base damage on top of mist monsters is truly pretty crazy, and the thing is you can get it even higher. If we were to run a build like this, let's just add up the bonus damage. We'd be at 145% right here. A Battle Beat would give us an extra 50%. Unearthly Treat would give us 42. The crit damage we'll leave alone, and Ow My Eye for another 50%. That gives us a total of 287% bonus damage. Without much min-maxing, you'd be able to keep up almost at all times, specifically for the bigger guys and mist monsters with Unearthly Treat. This build allows you to hit for almost 300,000 a shot. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's a lot of fun to do. You could do a build like this. You could do like I had on here before and have a little more survivability in here. Sadly, the Swamp Knight himself just isn't that strong as a commander. Unearthly Treat, like I said in the previous portion of this video, can be used with any weapons. It could be hammers, swords, rifles, assault rifles, doesn't matter, snipers. It works based on your missing health for extra damage against mist monsters. If you happen to run something like this along with From the Depths, you're getting a ton of bonus damage no matter where your health is. With Saurian Claws, we're getting 16.5% if we're at full health, and then once we drop down, we're getting an extra 86% here, an extra 86% damage with this, and then you could include Battle Beat, and that gives us another 50%, allowing for no matter what's happening to be doing a decent amount of damage. Combine this on the Black Metal set, as the melee weapons are arguably much better than the ranged weapons. The Black Blade, the Axe, the Scythe, all of them are pretty good. You're looking at another 80% damage on top of all of that if you get low enough. So it's 80 plus 44 plus 42 plus 50. It's just a lot of bonus damage that you can get away with on a build that has 1,000,000 health and some armor. It's a really strong build, especially if you're taking down the mini bosses or the mist monsters. You become a mist monster murderer. You absolutely chunk these guys, hitting for an absurd amount of damage, whether you're low health or high health. It just doesn't matter. Try out a build like this and let me know what you guys think. I really enjoyed playing around with Unearthly Treat. I really did. In my opinion, it does a lot of damage. The character looks awesome, and it's just something you can add on to any build. Sadly, Phantasms as a commander perk just aren't that strong, especially on a soldier that the only way to proc them is to take damage. That's not the greatest, obviously, but the base perk itself, like all of these Halloween heroes, is at least a little strong and different and fun to use. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I guess the real question comes down to, is it worth using? And although I do see the arguments to where you're not going to be at full health the entire time and it's counterintuitive to lower your health, it's not terrible. Specifically on a ninja, I think it's really good. You have Arlene is a survivalist, things that you can keep your health at that threshold to allow you to get the bonus damage. The Black Metal set is better for melee than ranged. And yeah, if you combine everything, you might be able to pull something off and have a little bit of fun and do a little bit of damage. But the character himself, being a ranged character, if you're bringing Totally Rocking out, it's very dangerous to be that low health. I would say it's a cool perk and a great ability for lower level gameplay, maybe 116, but once you get a little bit higher and you're in that one shot threshold by just one random guy hitting you, it's very dangerous to be at 42% less health. So that's up to you guys to decide, but it's not a bad perk. I enjoy it. The character looks great. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.